What do my you boys coming through once again? And on today's video, we're gonna talk about an incident that took place at California Correctional Institution, CCI, which is in Tehachapi, California, and where an inmate got off on a CO, hit him a couple times on the neck, and now the CO is basically on critical condition in the hospital, but he's stable, man. Sad situation. That guy is just doing his job. We don't like to hear stories like this because it's sad, man. Because you have to think about not only the CO, but their family, man. They're scared of this guy going to work, and all that affects the family, man. But this guy's trying to earn a living, which I want to talk about the environment, because the environment of the prison of the yard has to do a lot with these incidents, right? I did like around 5.5 years, 6 years in Tehachapi. And I got to know how different yards operate, right? The type of environment they offer to the inmates. And trust me, it does not surprise me that in C yard, this took place, man. Especially when it happened in C yard. On A yard, it does not surprise me. But before we continue with this, don't forget to like, a comment. What do you think about this? Do you disagree with what I'm saying? Do you agree with it? I like to have your point of view, right? But before we continue, also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, man, hit the subscribe button. I want to thank everybody who's been supporting the channel. Highly appreciate every single one of you. Let's do this. All right. So, in a video that I did prior, right, we were talking about the incidents, how there's like 200 incidents on staff against staff, right? And for me, that's a lot. We're talking about 7 incidents per day, right? And to be honest, I'm going to put it this way. Do I believe all of those incidents are legit? No. I have seen it many times in where a CO does something to an inmate and he has to justify his action. And the way he justifies is just by saying, he assaulted me or he battered me, right? That's the only way he's going to justify his actions. And trust me, it happens all the time. Do I believe that stabbings are happening daily on CDCR? I mean stabbings from a CO from an inmate against a CO? No, I don't believe that. But they're happening, of course, but I don't think it happens daily. Do I think it's even more than what it used to be? Look, I think maybe it's a little bit more, but it has to do with a lot of things. You cannot just blame this on the so-called California model. It's more than that, homie, because California model doesn't have nothing to do with this, man. That's just bringing classes for inmates to rehabilitate themselves, for those who want to seek that help, right? It's something different, man. Possibly, first of all, this incident doesn't have nothing to do with it. This happened in an SNY yard and C yard, and I believe it's a level 3, right? And apparently this guy, the inmate who did it, which is inmate Ortega, he's a known gang member, right? Maybe a 2-5er, normal rider, most likely a 2-5er. They're deep over there. And the victim, which is Officer Reyes, right? Sad situation. Apparently he was walking around the building when the inmate got him. Of course, they're going to hit code 3, and somehow, some way, they got control of the situation, handcuff this guy, send the officer to the outside hospital, and hopefully he does recover for this, Pero, look, I think CR, man, it has a very bad reputation, man. CR and AR has a very, very bad reputation. I'm just going to tell you like this. DR, which is like a level 2, right? That is more like a kickback spot, Nobody wants to do nothing. There's incidents. There's not that many incidents. There was incidents when they were doing the integration yards. B yard, which is a level 4, right? I've been there for when I was in the hole. One thing I can tell you is that the COs are very nice. They act different than the ones from AR. AR is basically an environment where it's basically like this. You do something and they're gonna give you the business. Like, hey man, you cross that line, you know what's coming your way, you know? And you think about it like, what? Like, does this motherfucker just told me that? You know, and they don't care. They do not care. And there's the same environment with CR. They're saying that CR was worse than AR, which AR was a level 4 at the time I was right there. CR is a level 3. Supposed to be a level 3 honor yard. I don't know if they ever flipped that yard to be honor. But that plays the culture of the SEALs, man. They run that thing like it was a level 4. And people didn't like that. The inmates didn't like that, man. A lot of violence. I've seen a lot of people that went to the hole because they had assault on staff right there, you know, or battery on staff. And everybody said, man, these people just made that shit up, man. Every single time I came across somebody from CR, man, it was battery on staff or assault on staff. And most of the times those charges were made. And go back to the incident. I always say, most of the times when an incident happens, man, this incident was provoked. You know, I'm not saying that this specific incident was provoked, but most of the times that when an incident happens in CDCR, in prison, that incident is provoked by something, you know, unless you just get a random Jake out of nowhere who thinks that you are the president of Russia and he goes after you, you know. But most of the time, this is what happened. And for somebody, let's say a gang member, to do this, I'm pretty sure that CO, that officer from his building, had something to do with this attack, man. I don't think that this was a random attack at all. But I'm not saying that what this inmate did is correct. No way, man. We don't want that. We should know how to behave like human beings, right? Instead of animals. And hopefully, man, they can get the answers that they're looking for. I know a lot of people are going to try to blame this on the California model. But honestly, California model does not have to do with the whole thing with the assault or battery on staff, man. The California model is just giving inmates the chance to rehabilitate themselves, right? Treat these inmates better, interact with them so that tension is not right there in the yard no more. Like I said, CR, a lot of tension. AR, a lot of tension, man. Now, BR and DR, it's more chillaxed. There's not that much tension because the culture within the CO is more ease, you know. There's more respect. The other ones is hectic, and that's why those yards become so dangerous, because at the end of the day, there's people who don't have nothing to lose, man. So if you come to them with the cocky attitude, they're respectful, these inmates don't have nothing to lose. They're lifers, or they possibly lost hope on going to the streets. So they're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to try to put an example out of every CO that comes to them sideways, you know. So people can see that it's not okay. And again, it's still not okay to go against a CO who's actually just doing his job, who's basically maybe adopted that cockiness, that culture, because of their peers. You know, it's basically, you don't want to be the outsider. And I don't think that most of these CEOs are like this. But so when they come into an institution, you know, it's like they flip a switch. You know, it's like, okay, now I'm going to be acting like this. I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to be cold with everybody. And it's because through generations, that's the fucking, the get down of that yard, you know. And that's why eventually things like this end up happening. You know, for sure that right now that yard is going to be on lockdown pending investigation. Do I think it's going to be there's going to be a hit on all COs? No, it's not going to be a hit. But there's, of course, there's issues. There's issues in CDCR that need to be addressed. And if you want change within the prisons, it has to start with the ground. You know, nobody upstairs can say, okay, this is how we're going to run it nowadays. You can't do that. The people on the floor have to put their effort and do the right steps to actually change the environment in the institution. Because somebody from upstairs can send the memos, send whatever they want. But at the end of the day, man, the CEOs are going to do what they want to do. At the end of the day, the inmates going to do whatever they want to do, you know. And that is reality in California, man. Dangerous situation, dangerous prison. A lot of a lot of assault on CEOs, a lot of batteries on CEOs, man. But this is how it's been for a minute, man. Let's not forget how riots used to happen between inmates and officers, man. It was some tough years, but shit happens throughout the years. We have seen many stories of inmates acting up. We have seen stories of CEOs acting up. So the blame has to go on both sides. You know, you cannot just blame one side, say, oh, this guy did it, or the green guy did it, or the guys from upstairs did it. Nah, man. All the sides have a blame to this, man. And it's time to actually do something about it, you know? And how it's going to happen? It has to start from the ground. It cannot start from the top, man. It has to start from the ground. Give that example, and eventually things are going to change, man. So with this being it, we are out to next video. Hopefully you like this video. Don't forget to hit the like. And muchas gracias.